It's easy to want to go back to what you used to know, not because it's good for you, but because it's familiar, because it feels safe and it feels comfortable. In a world full of uncertainty, sometimes comfort can be the only thing we feel like we're in control of, because we know how it ends. Even if it hurts us, even if it drains us, we know what to expect. It's tempting when you're tired. It's tempting when the silence is loud and the healing is slow. But let me tell you the truth. Just because it feels familiar does not mean it's safe. And just because it gives you a temporary fix does not mean it's going to give you lasting peace. And just because it didn't kill you does not mean it's not destroying parts of you. So the real question is, are you ready to stop surviving and start healing? That change does not start in your feelings. It starts in the mind. In the Bible, it says in Romans 8:6, the mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. That is why feeding your spirit matters. That is why the Word of God matters. Because your peace does not come from what is easy. It comes from what is eternal. It's not just the bad habits or the old relationships. It's the spirit being pulled towards a false sense of peace. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it looks like scrolling mindlessly on the internet. Sometimes it looks like talking to a person you know you should not talk to. Sometimes it looks like numbing the pain so it won't hurt as much. But God is not calling you to cope. He's calling you to heal and to change. You want to stop going back? You have to start replacing what is feeding you. You have to replace comfort with peace. You have to replace survival with surrender. You have to replace dysfunction with the divine. And no, that is not self-discipline. That is spiritual formation. And it's not something you do alone. When you are craving the very thing that God delivered you from, I want you to remind yourself that God didn't come just to see you suffer and settle in your sin. He came so that you'll be filled up with Him. In John 6:35, Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry. Whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. That means that God doesn't just fill you up. He satisfies you, and that satisfaction is the key to moving forward. When you feed your spirit, your cravings change. And when your cravings change, your choices change as well. The more you saturate your soul in the truth, the Word of God, the more it becomes harder to look back. However, if something is pulling you backwards, cut it off completely. Jesus said this best in Mark 9:43. If your hand is causing you to sin, cut it off. It is best you enter life with one hand than to enter hell with two hands. And that's not just about hands. It's about your choices, your connections, your devices, and your patterns. What is dragging you back into darkness, you better cut it off. Even if it hurts, even if that's all you've been knowing, because sometimes healing can feel like loss, but it's actually freedom. You have to understand that the enemy won't remind you of the pain. He will remind you of the high. But healing comes when you stop craving what almost destroyed you and start craving the one who can save you.